Hi, all, and thank you for joining our session. My name is Neil Goldstein, and I'm here with Diego Villa. And today we're going to speak about how we run our sales team with zero commission while we're doubling our revenue every year.
Hey everybody, Diego Villa here. Today's agenda is going to be pretty brief, but excited to show you. We're going to be talking about our journey to challenge the sales methodology, right? The traditional commission-based sales model. We're going to talk about sales the Monday way, right? How this ties into our culture and our software. We're going to be talking about Nir's perspective, the leadership perspective on this no commission model, and the individual's perspective, which will be myself talking through, my perspective on that model. And then we also did a survey with diving into some consultants and their experience with this no commission model.
So, a quick intro about us. My name is Neil Goldstein, and I'm leading the sales organization in Monday in EMEA and APAC. I joined the company a year and a half ago. I come from a technical background, and today I'm leading sales groups in Tel Aviv, London, and Sydney. My focus is to grow my group's revenue in 3x or year over year.
And I'm Diego Villa. I'm a senior consultant here at monday.com, working out of the New York office. For any of those who are in New York today, my focus is driving new business sales in the Americas. That includes both the U.S., Canada, Central, and South America. And I've been the top consultant globally out of 95 reps in 2020.
So, just before we dive into our compensation model and how we run the sales with zero commission, we wanted to give you a glance of our journey so far. Let's start with our numbers. What you can see here is the revenue, sales group revenue in the last recent years. So sales group started in Monday fairly late in the company life cycle when the company was 3.5 years old. It was in 2018, and in that year, we contributed $4 million to the company's ARR. Just 1 year after, we've done 4x, and we grew to 16 million. This year, we are on a journey to secure 50 million in net new ARR for the company, and the target for next year is 110. So as you can see, fairly aggressive targets and aggressive growth.
Great. So along with, the growth that we've seen on the revenue side, we've also seen a lot of growth with, the amount of people at monday.com. So the consulting group has also grown. We started our consulting group out of the Tel Aviv office, which is our headquarters. And then in about 2018, 2019, we expanded out to the New York office. Now in 2020, we have expanded out to San Francisco, London, and Sydney, which all have consultants in it. So we are growing quite a bit, and we're about 110 consultants now in 2020.
So let's talk a little bit about ideology and how we run sales in the Monday way.
Great. So, our culture is our biggest asset. When we talk about monday.com, we center the tool around collaboration and teamwork, right? Monday builds and our culture is tied into our consulting group, which we'll talk about. But the idea is that we breed a culture of collaboration inside of teams, right? We breed a culture of transparency for teams, like being able to very clearly see where we stand as an organization, which we'll also show you on later slides. But really tying our culture to all departments, not just those that are centered around product.
One more thing, an important guideline within the sales group is that we work as a team from the upper management through the sales representatives. We are all sharing the same targets. We don't have different targets, different numbers. We don't have buffers. And the main number that we're trying to push is the global sales target in order to push the entire group and the company together with it. So teamwork and shared goals all along the way. We'll dive now to the no commission and our compensation model, and we want to just in one glance share with you how exactly it works. So basically, we're talking about a fixed salary for all the salespeople in the department, managers, individual reps, and so on in all the different roles. So we don't have a commission part that is dependent on a single deal. And this is also composed of significant stock options for each rep and each person in the sales group. This is how we're running as a team. We drive teamwork and collaboration, and we drive and tie the individual success to the company's success. So a little bit about the leadership perspective on that model, advantages and challenges that it comes with it. So first of all, why did we choose such a model of using no commission and not going with a classic commission model that most of the sales organization would choose? We found out that the classic commission model drives many conflicts between the individual and the group. Different examples of those conflicts can be different targets for the AEs and the SDRs. The SDRs are pushing for opportunities. The AEs don't always agree with them, and that drives different conflicts that are not always aligned with their business targets. Another classic conflict is conflicts between different reps in different offices over global accounts in different territories. So we deal with many companies that have multiple offices across the world. Sometimes you want to run a certain deal from a certain office while someone else on another office have probably better chances to close that deal instead of you. And the commission model, the individual commission model, don't necessarily always drive the best decision for the business, and we'll talk about it soon more deeply. It drives challenges between sales and partners. When should I engage partners and collaborate with them, taking into account on the impact it's going to have on my commission. And it also allows us to set very ambitious targets. You've seen our growth rate. They're very aggressive. We're growing 3-digit year over year. And that allows us to set a bar very high without being defensive and thinking about how it's gonna impact on our commission. And with that high bar, there are high results. How does it really work? So the fact that you don't pay commission doesn't mean that we don't have team and personal targets. We actually do, and they're fairly aggressive. So each sales rep has annual, quarterly, and monthly targets that we drive very hard. We track the performance very closely to make sure that people are hitting their targets and we have a high quota attainment. And one more thing we're doing is actually putting a lot of emphasis on recognition. We understand that through recognition, we can compensate on some of the drive that will come through commission, and we put a lot of focus on that. Starting from celebration across the 400 screens we have in all of offices for each deal that is being signed, continuing with leaderboards and monthly and quarterly recognition for top achievers. We also tied it very closely with a well-defined and very transparent career path for all of the people in the sales group. So we're tying it with your performance, with long-term success and long-term progression. You will get more responsibilities. You'll promote in your roles, either to management or individual contributor, and that is one part of the big motivation in setting the long-term goals. The last part is transparency and data. As I mentioned earlier, we're all seeing the same number. We're all pushing the company's number, the sales group number, and we have a complete transparency on where the company stands at any point in time, where the sales group stands, so people would know exactly what are achievements and sometimes what are the weak spots that we need to work on. I want to share with you the main benefits of that model, what actually was working for our group. One significant part is the ability to make the right decision for the business. When you have such aggressive goals and you need to run very fast, you need to make constant adjustments to the business. Few examples is you can have in 1 month, too many leads on a certain team, on a certain group, and too few leads on another group. Having the classic commission structure wouldn't really allow you to shift opportunities or leads between the different teams. where our model, we can do that without impacting the personal commission. Also allows us to foster a winning team spirit. So people help each other. If one sales rep have already overachieved for this month, they would push their colleagues in order to get to the team's target and to the sales group target. Um, Easily apply organizational structure changes. We can easily break into territories, split between account executives and account management, new business and existing business, without again impacting people's salaries, and that allows us to really um, make what's right for the business. By doing so, we're saving a lot of wasted energy on internal conflict. We really work as a single unit, as one big global team, um, and we're focusing our energy on winning those opportunities. As I mentioned earlier, that model allows us to set very ambitious targets as individuals and as a group. And when we aim high, we reach high results. And lastly, we have a very close collaboration with our partners group. We don't have those second thoughts of whether we should engage a partner or not. Thinking on what's gonna be the impact on our salary. We just bring partners whenever they can add value, and we win deals. The key pillars to run a successful sales organization with zero commission is, first of all, alignment with the company's culture. Um, the teamwork and collaboration and transparency cannot be isolated or siloed only between sales. It has to work if that's the entire company's culture, and in our case, fortunately, that's the case. So we're just acting as any other department in the organization, and that allows really to our people to have the same drive, just like all other departments. Um, Another key pillar is having recognition and career development. So people know that when they succeed, when they work hard, when they achieve, they will get recognized for it and they will progress. They'll have long term success within the organization, getting more responsibilities, progressing in that career path. And that's a long term drive for people. And lastly is the compensation part. So the fact that we don't have commission tied to a certain deal doesn't mean that we don't compensate people on the company's success. We actually tied very closely the company's success with the individuals. So all of Monday employees, including obviously the salespeople, have significant stock options. And we all know that when the company grows, when the company's ARR grows, and when the company succeeds, that has a significant impact and maybe even life-changing events for our people, for ourselves. And we consider it as a long-term commission that is fully aligned between business and individual.
Great. So now let's dive into, the individual perspective, the sales rep perspective here. Great. So, the main question, working with Nir on this is, what's working to motivate me and what's working to motivate us as consultants? And we broke it up into, 6 different, almost like pillars in a way, right? There's a few key things here. The first thing is going to be growth as a team, right? We're built on a collaboration software. We have a culture of collaboration. We grow as a team, not just as an individual. We're sharing of strategies and processes, how we do things successfully, how we learn, from others, how we celebrate those wins. And we'll dive into the way we celebrate them because that's one of my favorite parts. We're also going to talk about development and consistency, right? That career pathing, the consistent model without having to worry about that commission. And then healthy competition. We're all consultants. Anyone who's been in sales, we all are competitive. So having that healthy competition is really a powerful thing in a consulting group. And then the long-term benefits, which we'll talk about as well. Great. So we're one team, we're one goal. On the left-hand side here, you're going to see I track my revenue, my monthly, my quarterly, my annual targets. I track these on Monday boards using our dashboards feature. So you can see here on the left-hand side, of course, I'm tracking my numbers. I want to make sure that I'm hitting my numbers, but we're one team. If you look here on the right-hand side, all, I believe, 700 employees are receiving a text message every single day to understand any revenue generating business that's coming in, whether that be sales, whether that be partners, whether that be the no touch business, right? We're able to really understand this as a team and really drive this, not just as an individual like you see on the left-hand side, but more as a team or a unit. And along with that, kind of diving into, sharing of processes and goals. We work very closely with our enablement team. And our enablement team, picks people. There's a consultant who's very good with time management. And a good example is they're doing monthly sessions with her to train new hires on best ways to manage their pipeline, best ways to manage their day so they're not overwhelmed. I myself do monthly sessions and just began monthly sessions sharing my process, sharing what I'm doing on a day-to-day function. So in your traditional model, you're a little more hesitant to share those processes. At Monday, for us, it's a benefit to share those processes. And now what's working to celebrate this, right? And I wanted to kind of dive in, because, we as consultants and salespeople, we want to be celebrated for our wins. We want to be celebrated for what we close. You can see here that one of the more senior account managers, his name is Graham, closed the deal. This comes into our Slack channel anytime someone closes a deal. And you can see here on the right-hand side that all those people on the right-hand side are consultants. They're people who are working, they're same as Graham, but we're celebrating Graham's win because it helps the business as a whole, right? Along with that, you can see here, we have our VP of sales for North America celebrating our wins. We have a head of enablement celebrating our wins. And this would be the time to show the video as well.
So, as always, I want to give a big thank you to Trey, who right now is about to go through a hurricane, so let's all pray that he stays safe. Thanks, Trey.
Yeah, and
Great.
it's important to mention, Diego, that we've sent out personal gongs to all of the sales reps across the world. So we didn't give up on our tradition to hit the gong once we close a large deal. We're just, taking a video of it and upload it.
Absolutely, yeah. Any deal above $25,000 is celebrated, and you can see in that video that Graham isn't just celebrating inside of the consulting group. He's celebrating the customer success manager who helped them drive that business. We're not just celebrating wins inside of the consulting group. Our culture is one that we celebrate wins across the whole organization. If legal team helped us speed up the process, we celebrate that win. And you could even see here, our co-founder is commenting on our Slack channel with a million things he probably needs to do in a day, and he's celebrating our wins. So celebration is one of the most important things in our culture, definitely. Great. And so talking through, development and consistency that motivates us as consultants. The first thing I wanted to talk about is our steady compensation model. Considering everything that's happened today and, all these uncertainties, we do really appreciate the idea that we have, this steady compensation without having to worry about what our commission is during these uncertain times. That steady compensation really drives and brings in some of the top talent, which our HR team does a really good job of bringing in because they see the value of that steady compensation. Along with that, we also have a very good development and career path that our HR team has done a phenomenal job of setting up for us. 2 times a year, we're meeting with our managers to talk about personal growth and development for the future. The first tier is development, right? Where do we see ourselves in 6 months? Which areas interest you? We've had people on the consulting team who have moved to the product team. We have people who are just recently moving from consulting to sales engineers. If something interests you, Monday is open to letting you learn it and letting you learn more than you would in just, your traditional model where you're really structured on selling as much business as you can. What new challenges are you looking for? I myself have been working on being more of a leader in the consulting group. So that was my challenge that I was looking to, learn from my manager. And then of course, personal growth. How did I do in these last 6 months? Where can I improve? And that's what we have these conversations 2 times a year with the manager, so everything is aligned and we can collaborate on best ways, right? And which is that last part, what's needed to achieve it, right? How can my manager, how can my VP of sales, Jameson, help me towards this goal? And these are the kinds of things that are aligned so that we have a clear goal and we're one team and one dream. Additional motivations, right? Our healthy competition. We are salespeople just like the next person. So like, how do we, still stay in a competitive environment? We have monthly performance boards that show up on all the office screens for us. And you're able to track who's the top of the board on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. You're able to track forecasting for the next months, and you're able to very clearly see. And I can tell you that most consultants want to be the top of the board, even if it's a no commission structure. Along with that, we also have those long-term benefits that Nir mentioned, right? Monday hires the top talent, or have hired the top talent, and we see the benefit of using our stock options as almost a long-term commission model, like Nir said. Like, we can actually reap a lot more benefits from having these stock options than just having that commission coming in every quarter or every month. And what this does is that having these stock options and having such a strong backing and feeling like you're part of this company really makes you want to work as a team for one dream, which is for Monday to grow as much as it can. Great, and just kind of diving into this, just quick run through. It's very similar to your traditional model. We still have monthly, quarterly, and annual targets. We still have 2 meetings a week with our manager, our pipeline reviews, like everyone loves, and then the one-on-ones, which we have with our managers. And then, of course, we have other measures that track activity as well. We have activity measures to track how many meetings we're having on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. We have pipeline to make sure it's accurate, for the team number. And then we have other initiatives, similar to how that other consultant is doing those time management courses. What other initiatives are you taking to help the team get better? It is not just about your targets. And then, of course, that 6-month review we just talked about, where we talk about compensation and feedback. Great. So this is, I would say, my favorite slide, but we did a survey with 11 individual contributors globally. Those individuals contributors spanned from San Francisco to New York, to Tel Aviv, to London, and Sydney. So we broke up everything, enterprise, mid-market. We got a little bit taste of all different consultants in our group. And we were able to pull some really powerful things from the information that we got. We were able to see that, one consultant felt like it helps you be a true consultant to your clients. I'm not worried about, this deal needing to close, even if it's not right for the client. My job here at Monday is to make sure that this is a good fit for that client. If it's not a good fit, they will find another solution. But that's the idea, is really being that true consultant and really making sure that they're making the right decision when they're evaluating softwares. The next thing is removing that sharky sales culture. We all know that traditional model where you're trying to take deals and get as many deals as you can, get as much commission as you can. Instead, we're working towards one true goal, which is the success of monday.com, right? If monday.com is successful, we're successful, and the stock option will relate that information as well. And then, of course, it fosters an incredible amount of collaboration. Like, I'm able to speak with, the head of sales for EMEA and APAC and Europe, like, consistently on a bi-weekly basis, right? I'm able to collaborate with my teammates, and it was really powerful to see that other consultants also felt the same way after doing that survey. And just tying this back, right? We'll tie it back to our culture, right? Our culture of collaboration. We work as a team, whether that be in the consulting group, whether that be with product, whether that be with legal. We work with multiple departments on monday.com. And that really fosters, the reason why we have this no commission structure. Next is transparency. monday.com and the founders have done an incredible job of showing us, exactly where the company stands, how the investor meetings go, and really making us fully feel part of the organization, not just another number. And of course, accountability. We're accountable for our number because Monday trusts us because they don't worry about our commission. They give us that buffer. They trust us to get to our number. And we're accountable for that number. And Monday is putting their best foot forward to trust us as individuals, which says a lot about our platform and our culture as a company.